Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be talking about Palworld and just my initial impressions of this game. So this game comes out tomorrow, probably midnight tonight for whatever time frame you are. I think this game, from everything I've seen, is nothing extremely groundbreaking, but it looks really fun at the same time. So let me get into it. First off, we got crafting. This game kind of took the elements from games like Rust, maybe Ark a little bit, whichever one you want to compare it to. It's very bare bones in the stand, like when it's going to release. So pretty much you got everything. All the building blocks are pretty much tile based, so they, no matter how circle they are, will pretty much run to be a square. So even if you make a house, they're going to look pretty similar to other people's houses because they look square. That's just how it's going to be in this game, as of right now. Hopefully in the future they can fix that. The one thing I really don't like about the crafting system so far is if you want to make, let's say, 10 arrows, you click it once, it'll wait 10 seconds to make an arrow, which I think is way too long in general. But then you have to click it again to make the next arrow. So you can't actually queue things up like you can in Minecraft, where you stick like a bunch of, let's say, the lumber into the thing, into the furnace. You put lumber in the bottom. It's going to make you charcoal, right? Well, you wait and then 60 charcoal gets made. Well, that doesn't happen in this game. You have to sit there and manually click it every single time you want to make another piece of charcoal in that instance. That's going to be annoying. Hands down, they need to probably fix that and just make it automated. Even if that's the thing you get later in the game for maybe building, or a certain PAL can help you out with that. I think that just should be a default thing in the game. If not, they need to increase the time it takes to make stuff rapidly. I think I saw about 5 to 10 seconds to make an arrow. Like, dude, that's a long time to make an arrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, when there's guns in the game and you're sitting there for 2 minutes trying to craft like 10 arrows. Maybe it's a bundle of arrows, I don't know. But when you got guns in the game, you want to get to the guns. You don't want to sit there with arrows the entire time. So I don't know exactly how that works. I'm just going off of what I've seen. But hopefully they can improve that. Next up, we got capturing. The capturing in this game works a little bit like Arceus combined with this game I played as a kid called Spectrobes. So your main character gets weapons, and your main character can attack other pals or people. You can capture people or pals in this game. Yes, you can capture people. And then you have your pal, your basically companion pals. You have a party, but one of them can only be out at a time. And that pal will be able to assist you fight whatever you're trying to fight. And then if they drop them down to low enough health, you throw your Pokeballs out, or whatever the equivalent is in this game. And then it catches them with a basically chance system. And it's actually visualized on the screen, which is pretty cool. I think the visualization is really neat in this game of how the timer actually captures it. But that's kind of a plus to this game. I think they did a good job with that. Very small detail, but yeah. Now, with that said, once you capture them, you can make a human or pal, basically a slave at your factory. I don't know a better term than that, but that's what they do. Whatever you assign them to, you can assign them to whatever you want, whatever their benefits are and their strong suits, and then they work for you for like the rest of the game. Well, that said, I kind of think the slavery aspect in this game, I'll talk about this for a second. The slavery aspect in this game is very unique to this game, and it is very, I feel like it's going to be kind of putting like a wedge in the system. You know, there's going to be people who really don't care. They think it's just a cool element. There's also going to be some people who just don't like the idea of having your pals be slaves, you know, your pets, essentially. I think the idea is fun and funny. I don't think it's taken too seriously in this game, but I think the idea behind it of having them as slaves is going to definitely put a wedge between some people after some time. Maybe not initially, but after a while. So I would assume there's also legendaries in this game, as most Pokemon clones have those, since they're pretty much staples in Pokemon games. I would assume they have legendaries. What they do have in this game are dungeons, and I've heard from a YouTuber that the dungeons are very repetitive currently, to the point where they're pretty much copy and pasted, and you have to run them in order to get better items apparently, so it's a requirement that's going to kind of suck. So there's that, and I hope they change that in the future. The bosses in this game, the first one that I've seen is the big yellow guy. It has a trainer with them, and they're on top of them, and they like shoot, plasma balls out and stuff like that. So the issue I've seen with this guy in particular, I don't know how the other ones work, but specifically with this guy, is very, very tanky. Very tanky. I watched the streamer I watched mostly, Call of Duty. She got the early access key to this game. This dude took her like 5 hours to bring this guy from like full health down to like a 10th or 20% of the health reduced. Took her like 5 hours to 6 hours actually playing the game. Putting this in the Pokemon's perspective, I'm pretty sure within 5 or 6 hours you're going to be on the second gym, if not going to the third or beat the third gym by that point. So we're talking like a really weird time difference thing. The only thing I really want them to consider when it comes to this is how Pokemon does raids. So Pokemon, when you do a raid in the newer gens, you can fight a level 10 Axew, for instance, in Sword and Shield in the open area. You can get that level 10 Axew by killing it with level 8s. That level 10 Axew becomes a very good dopamine rush and very good reward system since you got a stronger Pokemon out of fighting a weaker Pokemon. With that said, in this game, if the opposite's true, where you have to basically over-farm to kill these bosses that should have been killed at a very low level, because let's say you need 4 people, which is where the co-op comes in. Maybe you need 4 people to kill these big bosses. Well, if you're playing by yourself, which a lot of people who play monster catchers do, I'm not saying all of them, but most of them do, they're going to want to kill this thing when it's at the adequate level for what it needs to get the rewards for. If the rewards are less than expected, it's going to be very, that's going to be a big issue. Because now you have the opposite of reward system. You actually get, punished for playing by yourself. And people don't want to feel that. So, I haven't played this game, and I haven't, actually experienced this fight yet. But I really, really hope they take that into consideration and that does not become the case when you're playing by yourself. Or else that's going to be a very big issue for a lot of people and just basically game design in general. Next up, we got, you can fly and run around on your pal, so that's pretty cool. That's done in Pokemon as well, so I'm not saying it's neat to see it in this game. It's nothing really new, but it's neat to see. So, I pretty much, this game's going to be on Game Pass, by the way. So, if you want to spend $15 to play it for a month, you can, which is next month. Or if you want to buy it for $30, if I'm not mistaken, that's the price for it. It's going to be early access on PC. Potential, I don't know how that works on consoles, to be honest, but it's early access on PC, I would assume there too. But you just get the game and you just buy it, and then it gets updated over time. So yeah, it's co-op. I think so. My impressions on this game is just as a final thought. It looks good, but I think the depth of the game is going to be where it really has to thrive in because of the combat's kind of subpar and the crafting is not the greatest. You're going to see a pretty fast decline after about the first couple weeks. It's a very, all monster catchers could be, I always think that they have a pretty good chance of being successful. This one in particular has probably a unique niche it can fill, which is a 3D Pokemon game co-op on consoles and PC. So it could become big. My honest opinion is it won't because of the slavery thing. I think it currently as a game, it's probably like a 7 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10. I know it's an early access. I really want to see where it goes. Like most games that are monster catchers, I have a pretty, I'm going to say kind of pessimistic view, to be honest, when it comes to this, because I've only played one so far that I think is even as good as Pokemon, which is Cassette Beast. That game is fire, by the way, if you want to play a good monster catcher. Cassette Beast is like the best, I think, clone of Pokemon. The period. I think it's the best. And, I'm hoping this game with its crafting system can wow me, because if not, I'm going to make another video in the future and just giving my final thoughts on it. Maybe make some videos in between. So everyone, thank you for watching. Have a good day.